What's happening, y'all? Welcome back to the Media Goose channel. It is I, the Media Goose, RJG, Ryan James Gorman. And the goose is loose, baby. Ha! I'm coming at you today to give my grades for the entire first round of the NFL draft. For the picks that went a little chalkier, a little bit more along the lines of what we expected, I'll probably keep things moving a little more and spend some more time on picks that were either surprising or I really disagree with. So guys, if you're new here, please like the video, hit subscribe, let me know what you think of my pick or my thoughts on the picks, and overall your thoughts on the picks, let me know down below. So Fernando Mendoza went first. That was obviously going to happen. You get your quarterback, you get your guy. Let's see how they go forward and support him now. Then at number 2, David Bailey to the New York Jets. I would have taken Arvell Reese personally. I just think his upside is way higher. I don't really buy all of this he's a safer pick stuff. He's not good against the run. He's really just a pass rusher. So I don't know. I don't see David Bailey as a top 8 pick in like a normally talented draft. So I think it's a reach. I don't really see him working out personally. So I'll give this like a C+. I think Arvell Reese was better in every single way that could be quantified. So I would have taken Reese. And if you were going for a pure pass rusher, I would have taken Ruben Bain over David Bailey. So I didn't love that pick. Then Jeremiah Love to the Cardinals. I got that right. I've been mocking that for weeks now. And just because I was mocking it doesn't mean I agree with it. They now have $60 million committed to their running back room. That's kind of crazy. Granted, it makes sense when you consider the fact that they don't have a quarterback, really. You have Jacoby Brissett holding out, which is a wild statement, and Gardner Minshew. So the running backs are going to have to carry this thing. I think ultimately Jeremiah Love's a really good player, and he's going to be good right away. But I think the Cardinals are kind of like the Raiders last year. I don't think they were ready to make this pick. I don't think your offensive line is ready. I don't think your team is ready. So I'm going to give this a B just based on how good Love is. I can't go much lower than that, but I don't love the process of staying at 3, not trading down. I don't know, but maybe Love would have won F4. So you just got to take your guy when you want him, and they clearly wanted Jeremiah Love. B. Then Carnell Tate at 4. I brought this up a few weeks ago, wondering why it wasn't getting brought up as an option more. I don't love Carnell Tate. I think he's like a good 2. I don't think he has a lot of number 1 receiver upside. He kind of reminds me of like a Calvin Ridley-ish player. So it's an okay pick, but I would have taken Jordan Tyson if I wanted a number 1 receiver. Carnell Tate is safe, though. I don't think he can be a flat-out bust. I don't think his skills will allow that, but I also don't ever see, like, a 1,500-yard guy here. This is, like, buck standard, right in the middle wide receiver. Like, he'll be good, but I don't think he'll ever go much beyond good. I'll give Carnell Tate a B as well. I'll go B- for Carnell Tate. Then number 5, the New York Giants got the best player in the draft in Arvell Reese. This is an A+ in my opinion. To the people saying he's an edge rusher, no, he's not. Educate yourselves. He's a linebacker, and he's the best linebacker in this draft. He was only pushing the whole edge rush thing to go to the Jets for the bigger payday. And he may want to be considered an edge rusher because when it comes to 5th-year option and franchise tags, they get paid better. But looking at his tape, he's a linebacker. He's elite against the run. He has a lot of pass rush upside that they're going to tap into. And I'm just really excited about this fit and that front seven now. Just having another attacking athlete is going to go really well for them, I think. Then, number 6, the first trade, we have the Chiefs coming up to take Mansour Delane. I give that an A. I think that Mansour Delane in any draft is a top 10 pick. In most drafts is a number 1 corner. I think Mansour Delane is really great, and with what was leaked, not really leaked, but what was said about Jermod McCoy in the week of the draft, where more teams were nervous about him, there was more of a floor between corner 1 and corner 2, so I totally understand the Chiefs moving up to get their guy, because I had mocked Delane to the Saints, so I think they would have jumped at the chance to take him. I give Mansour Delay and the trade an A. Then Sonny Styles goes to the Washington Commanders, and that's another A in my opinion. I don't care about positional versatility, especially not in a draft where the marquee positions aren't that represented: quarterback, pass rusher, and left tackle. And Sonny Styles is a baller. He's going to go into the middle of that defense right away. He's really athletic, solid against the run. I think he's going to translate really well. I think that he also has pass rush potential if they want to try to tap into that. All of these Ohio State defenders are going to translate well, in my opinion. Being coached up by Patricia is going to help them all a lot in terms of their maturity when they arrive to the league. Then we had Jordan Tyson to the New Orleans Saints. I like this pick a lot. I've said before, my number 1 receiver in this draft. I think he has the most clear number 1 receiver upside. When I look at the 3 to 4 top receivers in this draft, he is the clear. When I watch him, it looks like what a number 1 looks like in the NFL right now. It's an A. Tyler Shuck's got to be thrilled. I know his teammate Chris Bell could have been a second-round target, but take the talent, and Jordan Tyson, I think, deserves that pick. A. Then the Browns, who moved back from pick 6 to pick 9, and they still get their guy in Spencer Fano. I would say this is a B+, if not an A. Getting those extra picks, it didn't seem like there was a high draft capital to be paid to move up in this draft. I don't think any second-round picks were exchanged that weren't part of some kind of move up or move down. Spencer Fano, really consistent. They can drop him wherever they need to on the offensive line. And I think that the fact that they move back helps a lot, so I'd give that an A. Then the Cowboys move up from 12 to 11 to ensure they get their guy, and they get Caleb Downs. It's an A+. I was very vocal about Caleb Downs being one of my most favorite players in this draft and being one of the guys I wanted the Giants to come away with. So it does hurt to see him go in division where he's probably going to be an all-pro player. It's an A+ from Dallas. I don't care that they moved up. It's an A+. Caleb Downs is going to be a beast. Then pick 12, a surprise pick, Caden Proctor. I'm going to give this like a C+. This is not great value. I think Proctor was more valued at the end of the first round. I think the Lions at 17 was the earliest I would have taken him. Hearing Nick Saban from Bama say that he doesn't self-motivate is kind of alarming. You're about to be in the NFL, big guy. You better self-motivate. Especially as large as he is. If you don't self-motivate, you're going to get bigger and bigger, and I don't like your odds of developing as a player, so this is a risky pick. I'm not shocked because I did mention how the guys coming down from Green Bay would prioritize offensive line, but I wouldn't have went with Proctor personally. So that's one to keep your eye on. Then the worst pick of the first round for me, Ty Simpson. This is a C minus maybe, and I think I'm being polite. I don't like the process of this pick. I don't like anything about it, really. you're 1 year, you were one game from the Super Bowl last year. You have an MVP quarterback at the end of his career, and you took his backup. It's like the Jordan Love thing. But Stafford is closer to the end of his career than Rodgers was at that point. I'd be upset if I were Stafford. If you watched the post-draft press conference, it didn't look like McVay was thrilled. So I don't know. If you dig in a little bit, you find out that there are some nepotistic connections between Ty Simpson's family and Les Snead. So this might be a bit of nepotism. I don't like the pick. I don't think it was a smart pick. I would have went with the positional value of tackle or receiver, or even Vega just for best player available. I don't like the pick. Even as a player, I get that going to McVay is the best possible outcome, but I don't know. We'll have to see how things go. I feel bad for Stafford with them not doing more. Hell, I would have maybe even called up Dallas and been like, hey, can we get George Pickens over here? I don't know, but I'd be pissed if I was Matthew Stafford putting up an MVP season and then your team uses a top 13 pick on your replacement. I'd be pissed. Then the Ravens at 14, a chalk pick that almost everybody had. Vega to the Ravens. It's an A+. He's almost like a no-bust potential player. I think he's going to be great. Plugs in as a day one starter. A+. 15, Ruben Bain, A+. I think he was the best pure pass rusher in the class, and I would have taken him at 2 if I were the Jets. People are overthinking this whole arm length thing. Ruben Bain's a dog. He's a beast. And I think he's going to be really good 3-down player who, I don't know, he feels like a Brandon Graham to me, where maybe he won't be a Hall of Famer, but he's a Ring of Honor guy where, like, the team he plays for, the fans are going to love him and revere him. And even if he doesn't have like 160 career sacks, he's going to be a consistently impactful player. A+. Kenyon Sadiq to the Jets. This was an interesting one. I've brought it up a few times and been told all the reasons why it wasn't going to happen, but I think it made a lot of sense. Mason Taylor is more of an inline kind of tight end. So bringing in a Kenyon Sadiq who can play the slot, who can allow you to run more 12 formation with 2 tight ends on the field, I think this is a really good pick. I saw some people pushing back against it, but I really like it. I think that it's going to help that offense overall. It diversifies what they can do. And with a pick they make later in this round, man, the Jets had a really good, well, I don't love David Bailey, but Kenyon Sadiq and their player they took later is a hell of a tandem. So I'll get to that player later on. But Kenyon Sadiq, I'm going to give a B, bordering on a B+, because I really like the player. Blake Miller to the Lions is such a good fit. He played so much right tackle. He's going to play right tackle day one for the Lions. I think everybody and their mother knew the Lions were going tackle. It wasn't a surprise. And Blake Miller got a ton of snaps in a premier conference playing at Clemson, so makes a lot of sense. A. Then at pick 18, another surprise in Caleb Banks. I don't think this is that far from his value, honestly. I've mentioned before that I think if you take out his foot injury, if you take away that stuff, he was like a borderline top 15 talent in this class. And going to Brian Flores is going to be good for him. I think it's a good pick. I think that this was a team I had maybe going after Dexter, and clearly they wanted a nose tackle or a big defensive lineman because they got it here. I'm going to give this a B. I don't think this is as bad of a pick as people are saying. Then we had Monroe Freeling to the Panthers. I'm going to give this a B+. He's got a lot of athletic upside. He can maybe play right away if you end up needing him, but if not, I think he's got a lot of long-term potential. I think that he's a pretty good player. I think I never liked him being mocked as high as 6, but in this range, it's good value. I think Monroe Freeling has a lot of upside, probably more upside than Blake Miller, who went a few picks before him. Miller might be safer overall, but Monroe Freeling has the upside of like a great left tackle. So, really good value there. I'm going to give that a B as well. Then the Philadelphia Eagles move up with the Cowboys to get Mekhi Lemon. I'll give it a B. I don't like Mekhi Lemon that much. He's a slot, and that's it. And I don't know. Slot receivers are kind of interchangeable. I've seen a lot of guys come in and out of the Giants lineup as wide receivers in the slot. Richie James was doing decent in the slot recently. So I don't know the value of a slot receiver, but this guy's a dog. I think he fits the Philly mentality. Philly fans will love him. I'll give it a B. And I think that kind of confirms that A.J. Brown is going to be out of there June 1st when the contract is easier to trade. I'll give it a B. Then we have Maxi Onacher to the Steelers. I'll go B-. I think that he's a developmental guy that might need to sit, and I don't know that he's going to be able to in Pittsburgh. So we'll see if he's ready to go right in. He might. I would advise bringing in a veteran, potentially, if they don't already have one. I think he might be better off on the bench to start, but long-term potential is there. I just don't know if he's an immediate starter. So I'll go like B-, C+. Then we have pick 22, the Chargers go Akeem Messidor. I'll give that an A. Good value, pro-ready player coming in. Pick 22 is good value for Messidor. He's got a lot of tools already coming into the league. He doesn't have to develop much. So he's going to come in and contribute right away. I'll give that like an A-. The Cowboys, who moved back, take Malachi Lawrence. I'm going to give that a B+. I was very vocal about liking Malachi Lawrence. I think that he would have played up to first-round potential even if he wasn't drafted in the first round. I won't knock the grade just because I don't like the Cowboys. I think it's a B+. You moved back a bit, knowing he probably wasn't going to go, and you still get your guy. So that's a really good pickup. The Cowboys come away with Caleb Downs and Malachi Lawrence on the front end and the back end of that defense, and that's a really good duo of players going to Dallas. Then KC Concepcion to the Browns at 24. I'll give it a B, B-. I think KC Concepcion's a good player. Drops scare me a little bit, but I think he could get better with that, with age and focus. I don't know if I would bet on that happening in Cleveland because it's Cleveland. I would have preferred a Denzel Boston or Cooper here. So probably a B-. I'll go. I don't know if Cleveland's the best place to tap into his untapped potential. Then Dylan Thieneman went 25th to the Bears. That's a B+. That's just best player available. A lot of people, Trevor Sikkema had Dylan Thieneman 7th on his board. A lot of people had him in like the 12 to 16 range. That's a B+ to an A of a pick, Dylan Thieneman. Probably an A-, honestly. He can play in the box. He can play center field. Great pick by the Bears. I'll go A-. No, I'll go A. Just a solid A. Pick 26, the Texans move up for Kalen Rutledge. I'll give this like a C, maybe a C-. I don't really understand it, honestly. They have guards, I think. And I know like it's all free agency and you're putting it all together, but you have guards. I don't really understand moving up to get him. It's like, I'll give it a C. He popped up in that Schrager mock recently, and before that, I hadn't seen him in a mock at all. Hopefully he develops. The profile on him was old school guard, mauler. So hopefully that helps the Texans, but I don't know if I see moving up as the move there. I'll give it a C. Then the Dolphins trade up to 27. Right? Is that how that happened? Yes, the Dolphins traded up and they ended up taking Chris Johnson. I'll give that a B+. I think Chris Johnson's really good. He really started to move up later in the mock draft season, and he was mocked earlier than the set times. I think them coming up to get their guy was really smart. I'll give Chris Johnson a B+. Then we have the Patriots trading up for Caleb Lomu. I'll give it a B-. Caleb Lomu kind of reminds me of Will Campbell. They're kind of similar players in that I don't know if they're tackles. We'll see. I hope he doesn't have to start right away. I don't think he will because he'll be able to sit behind Morgan Moses. But I'll go like B-, C+ for Caleb Lomu. Then at pick 29 was Peter Woods to the Chiefs. Excellent pick, B+. I like Peter Woods a lot. I think he's going to be really good. He's a little undersized, but I think Spags will utilize him properly on the line. Him being on the same line as Chris Jones I just buy into the idea that will also help his development. So that's a B+ pick. Peter Woods and Mansour Delane for the Chiefs is a great haul. Then at pick 30, the Jets moved back in, as I teased earlier, to pick up Omar Cooper, the guy I projected they would take at 16. So they get Kenyon Sadiq and Omar Cooper. I'm giving this an A-. I think that they played the board really well, not reaching at 16, waiting as late as 30 to come back and get him. Great by the Jets. Great way to play the board and come away with another top-rated guy at his position in Sadiq. I think Sadiq and Cooper are huge for this offense, and it was really smart playing the board the way that they did. I'll give the Omar Cooper B+ or A-, probably more of an A-, honestly, because I like Omar Cooper a lot. Then at 31, the Titans move back in for Keldrick Falk. I like it. I saw the guys at the NFL Stock Exchange. Connor didn't like it, and he knows Saleh really well. He's really good against the run, Keldrick Falk. And he's like long and athletic, so he fits, but is he going to actually finish the sacks at the quarterback? That's a big question. And that's kind of a question with the guy opposite of him, Jermaine Johnson. So in a vacuum, I like it. I'll give it a B. But when you look at the full range of weapons they have on defense, I'm not positive how it's going to work out. Then at 32, Jadarian Price to the Seahawks. I'll give a B+. I like Jadarian Price a lot. Notre Dame guy. Would have been a higher pick if he wasn't stuck behind Jeremiah Love in the same backfield. I think that he'll come in right away and contribute to Seattle. Seattle losing Walker hurt a lot, but this helps cover that up. Now it's going to be Jadarian Price and Charbonnet. So I'll give that a B+ for the Seahawks to round out round 1. So, guys, what did you think of round 1? I didn't like the Caden Proctor pick. Didn't like the Ty Simpson pick. Maxi Onacher, I'm not sure. Makai Lemon, I'm not sure. I'm kind of good with Caleb Banks, honestly. And then the last, 6 picks of the round were always going to be crazy with the way this big board ended up and, the fall off of players. So let me know what you thought of round 1, y'all. I will be back to talk about night 2 tomorrow and everything that happened. Hit like, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. Join the Goose's flock if you have not already. The Goose RJG is out.